Thus says the Lord. Rejoice heartily, O daughter Zion. Shout for joy, O daughter Zion, O daughter Jerusalem. See, your king shall come to you, a just Savior is he. Meek and riding on an ass, on a colt full of an ass. He shall banish chariots from Ephraim, and the horse from Jerusalem. The warrior's bow he shall banish, and he shall proclaim peace to the nations. His dominion shall be from sea to sea, from the river to the ends of the earth. The word of the Lord. Our responsorial will be, I will praise your name forever, my King and my God. I will extol you, O my God and King. I will bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you, and I will praise your name forever and ever. I will praise your name forever and ever. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness. The Lord is good to all, and compassionate toward all his works. Let all your works give you thanks, O Lord, and let your faithful ones bless you. Let them discourse of the glory of your kingdom and speak of your might. The Lord is faithful in all his words, and holy in all his works. The Lord lifts up all who are falling, and raises up all who are bowed down. A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans. Brothers and sisters, you are not in the flesh. On the contrary, you are in the Spirit, if only the Spirit of God dwells in you. Whoever does not have the Spirit of Christ does not belong to him. The Spirit of the one who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you. The one who raised Christ from the dead will give life to your mortal bodies also, through his Spirit that dwells in you. Consequently, brothers and sisters, we are not debtors to the flesh, to live according to the flesh. If you live according to the flesh, you will die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the deeds of the body, you will live. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth. For although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to little ones. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden light. The gospel of the Lord.
For those watching online, I'm sorry I forgot the microphone, so. Ooh, and I also forgot the thing here. There's too much going on at the same time with trying to do all this stuff, so please, everybody, bear with me. Today in the gospel, Jesus tells us to do three things. To be little, to come to him, and to learn from him. To be little, to come to him, and to learn from him. To be little, of course, you know, Father Peterson, who most of you know, who was my director for many years, God rest him, constantly used to say to me, be little, Larry, be little. I haven't done that well, as most of you know, throughout these years. Being little isn't one of the things that you would say about Father Larry, right? It'd be like proud, arrogant, and aggressive, maybe, but little? And so, but when we hear the gospel, it meets us where we're at, God always does, but calls us to where he wants us to be. So again, as we talked about last week and the week before, God is asking of us that we would be humble before him, that we would come before him not thinking we know it all, because I don't, and I've been doing this a long time, and none of us do, but being little before him so we can learn from him, because we can't learn from God unless we're little. That's the point. And then what we got to do is he calls us to come to him. Not to the world, not to the flesh, not to the devil, not to political parties, not to presidents, not to movements, to him. He calls all of us, you come to me. And so do I do that in a daily, consistent way in my prayer? Do I go to Jesus to learn from him? Or do I go to Jesus to tell him what he must do for me? We got to get beyond the telling Jesus what he must do for us. And we got to come before him humbly, little, and learn from him. And what do we learn from him? What we don't learn from the world, right? Learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart. Again, to go back to my spiritual director, Pete used to say to me again and again and again, he'd say, now Larry, for your penance, and he always liked to give me interesting penances, of course, I want you to say, Jesus, meek and humble of heart, make my heart like unto thine. And I want you to say it 1,000 times. Yep. So for all these years, I've been saying, Jesus, meek and humble of heart, make my heart like unto thine. Now, this past week started my 19th year here in the parish. How many people would sit there and say, you know about Father Larry Richards? He is meek and humble of heart. There's no laughing. Someone at the last Mass says, I would, Father. Thank you. So, she doesn't know me that well. But the reality is, I've struggled, of course, all these years with the farthest thing, filled with pride, anger, fill in the blank, I can be it, depending on the day. And yet Jesus still meets me where I'm at, still meets you where you're at, and says, listen, if you become little, if you come to me, and you decide you will learn from me, you can become like me, meek and humble of heart. So I'd encourage you, let that be your prayer today too. Jesus, meek and humble of heart, make my heart like unto thine. Say it 1,000 times or so. And then as you and I come before the Lord and say, I want you to make me meek and humble of heart like you, Lord. Now, meekness isn't a fakeness, you know. Again, meekness comes from a word. It says it's controlled power. Controlled power. It doesn't mean we become people that people walk on, but we control things. We become meek. And then what does he promise us? If we come to him little, we learn from him because he is meek and humble of heart. What he promises all of us, which we all need so much, and you will find rest. You will find rest for yourselves. So I don't know about you, but I know I need rest. When I'm screaming, jumping up and down, it's not resting. I need rest, and so do you. We find it in Jesus, coming before him humbly, coming to him and saying, Lord, teach me to be like you. Got it? Get it? Gonna do it? May each of you know his love today and forever. Amen.